Hi, TransBy Dad. It's Jenna. I'm a day late here because I've just been swamped, crazy busy. This week's topic is going to be about choosing a therapist, or in some cases not to choose a therapist. This is like a really important thing, I think, for us to safeguard ourselves. I know there's a lot of opinion on whether we need the gatekeepers, so to speak, and I have conflicting feelings about both. I did use a therapist. I didn't in the beginning because I self-medicated, which was probably okay, not okay. When it was all said and done, I had done enough reading and making sure that I wasn't putting myself in a position where I was going to harm myself or hurt my family more than I already was, with, creating a health problem for me. So I did eventually get a gatekeeper or a therapist, if you will. Dr. Michelle Angelo, she is in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, and she really took really good care of me and helped guide me and make the right decisions for myself. The thing that is important about picking a therapist, and I'm going to jump around a little bit because my mind is going 100 miles an hour in different directions. The thing about picking a therapist is not only is it important for me to have found one, but to pick somebody that knows what they're doing. Anybody will take your money, as you know, if you open up a checkbook or your wallet, they're going to be there. So picking a therapist that has experience in the field, where you're not a guinea pig for that person or part of a learning experience for them, or somebody that may have conflicting personal opinions on your decision to transition or to come out as trans or gay or whatever. You need somebody that is impersonal as far as their opinion on whether you should transition, but also finding somebody, that person that has a lot of experience. I did that. I wasn't going to willy-nilly pick somebody to work with me that didn't have any experience. I came into my therapist through my EAP program at work, recommended by a doctor there at Robert Wood Johnson Medical Center, or UMDNJ, New Jersey. Came through, that's where our corporate care was, those 2 visits for free type of thing was done, and no questions asked. And I've ended up getting a couple different things. I found a therapist, and I also found support groups, a couple different support groups to get involved in. More Renaissance being one of them. But back to the therapist, finding somebody that knows what they're doing is ultra important in my book. I have seen people, since I've been transitioned a long time now, I have seen people get a therapist because they tell them what they want to hear, or they'll prescribe hormones right away to bridge that hormonal gap. And that's really, it's not the right way to do it. Getting a therapist that won't turn over all the rocks and make sure that you are doing this for all the right reasons is a gigantic mistake. It's a life mistake, a big one. You want somebody that's going to work with you and challenge you and guide you and direct you and not tell you what you want to hear, or just give you a slip that gives you permission, a piece of paper to go get hormones. That should be the last thing on your mind. if you have already started hormones, and usually the doctor will, for health reasons, the right therapist will right away write the piece of paper so that at least you're being taken care of. And there's protocols in the DSM that allow for that to be done. So for me, having a therapist was an important part of my transition, and I'm glad that eventually I did that, because when it came time for coming out to work, dealing with family members, all those things, they made those crucial mountains that you had to climb up over, they made it a lot easier. And it was also somebody that I could share stuff to, that I knew was going to be unbiased in their opinion of what I was doing, and for that I'm deeply grateful. The downside, that if you don't have the right therapist, is you tell them what you want to do and they sign off on it. The downside of that is the people that have had transitions that I know that have had regrets afterwards are usually those that circumvented the system as it were, and started transition and said, this is what I want to do. Well, it was the flavor of the month, so to speak. So, the following month something else they might want to do something else. But once you start hormones, as you know, there's no changing the permanent effects after a month or so. So having somebody that would do those safeguards is important for yourself. People that I know that have gotten, a therapist because they were friends with the therapist is probably, and I know somebody that knew two people that have done that. Both of those have turned into disasters with a lot of post-transition problems. If you think that transitioning is going to solve all your problems and everything's going to be okay, that couldn't be further from the truth. Usually the problems that you carry with you into transition, other than your gender issue, exist afterwards. So there's those things have to be dealt with. Getting a therapist and being a guinea pig for them and learning, that has no experience with transgender people, is, simply put, I am not teaching you how to take care of me. Can't make it any simpler than that. I'm not going to be your guinea pig for your education. And so finding somebody that really knows what they're doing is a little bit more difficult, but very, very important. I'm trying to think what else I had in mind on this topic it was a burning desire of mine to post this one. I think those that are against having a therapist and a gatekeeper way of doing things, they have a point. It's an invasion of your personal choices, and at times I didn't need somebody to tell me who I was so much as I needed someone to help me work through who I was. So did I need a gatekeeper all the time? No. There's the financial aspect of that not all of us can afford, and I do understand that. So making sure that you are, during transition and post-transition, that you're managing your dollars and letting them know when you're ready to move on is important. Because it is a financial burden along with everything else in transition. I'm sure that there are groups in the different larger cities that offer that kind of counseling at a minimal charge or for free, and which is worth looking into. But, in hindsight, I'm kind of against doing it on your own, because that's where I've seen people fail. So if I were to give advice, which I'm not here, I'm just sharing my my experience with you, it would be to think long and hard before you decide you're doing it on your own. Because eventually, somewhere down the line, you're going to hit a roadblock where you're going to need help. And sometimes those roadblocks are the emotional, mental ones, not so much the physical ones. But that, I think, is really important to take care of up here when you're going through a transition, because it's, you know, as we all know, it's not easy. It's not for the thin-skinned, and not to be taken lightly. So my suggestion to somebody that was going to come out was find somebody with a lot of experience. Make sure you can work out some kind of payment program with them as you go that you can afford. If you're already started hormones, don't lie to them. Let them know right away that you did, so that they can help work around that issue of the DSM with you. I know that it exists and it can be done. Gatekeepers create a lot of anger with people in the trans community because you know who you are, but I think the benefit of a gatekeeper outweighs not using one, for me. And for those that I've seen make mistakes, or those that got, oh, it's a friend of my doctor who said they would work with me, and da-da-da-da, and they're only $50 an hour. And those people are the ones that I've seen that have had problems. Not that they all did, but those are the people that I've seen that had issues after the fact. It didn't take that long, hard look, or take the time and spend that time. Because let's face it, you know, transitioning up to the point, if surgery, if you're going to do that, is a relatively... Whoop, there goes a cat. Fell down, kitty cat. Come here. Psych. Come here, psych. Excuse me. Those that, and I lost my train of thought, but those that, the time frame, that's what I was at. The time frame of doing this is a year or two, maybe 3, but a lifetime after is a long, long time. And the mental peace that you want after is important. So I hope I've touched on some of the stuff that was important to me. I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody else about this and how they did it and whether they agree with me. If you don't agree with me, please do a video dissertation as a response and explain to me why. Don't give me a one answer reason why. I want to know definitively why, exactly, out of your own mouth, why you think I'm wrong about having a gatekeeper or a therapist. I hope you're all getting ready for the holidays. I probably won't, well, I definitely won't post again before the new year. And I look forward to hearing your comments, everyone else's. So enjoy your day, enjoy your holidays, play safe, get a gatekeeper. I hate that word. Peace. Bye.